Visitors to get back into the game, and then Celtic scored twice before half-time. Hatate again with the strike from the edge of the area, and then he turned provider from the left-hand side with a left-footed ball in, which was picked off by Barlow. Celtic running. Well, it's a very warm welcome back to a second half independent off-tube studio commentary from the game at Celtic Park. The Old Firm derby, Celtic leading by 3-0 at the start of the second half. And the visitors really a little bit shell-shocked after Celtic taking the lead on just 5 minutes. Then a little bit of a recovery for Rangers in terms of possession, but two late goals from Celtic on 42 and 44 minutes. Hatate with the first goal on 5 minutes. Then he scored again on 42 before Abada scored with Hatate's cross to make it 3-0. And it's got to be a much improved performance here from Rangers. Myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz, and Cy Barlow taking you through the action.
Yeah, Rangers... just outclassed in that first half. Didn't get a good start to the game, and Celtic just were relentless. It's the first time Rangers have conceded 3 goals in back-to-back league matches since 1986. So there are some defensive issues there that aren't going to be sorted out with just a few half-time changes that he's made there, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst.
Absolutely, and we made the point that the 3-3 draw, McGregor certainly had a hand in errors that led to that, but he's actually made some great saves to keep the score down.
Yeah, the 3 changes that he has made at half-time, incidentally, are Leon Balogun in defence, Ryan Jack in midfield, and Fashion Sakala up front. So he's just not happy with any department, any unit in his team.
Yeah, he's made a change in each one of his lines there, and here come Rangers straight away down the right-hand side. A good run here from Sakala, getting past a couple of players, trying to put a cross in as well. Does he win his side a corner kick? Referee Bobby Madden says no. Deflects off Hatate and back off the Rangers, man.
Yeah, Fashion Sakala's come on for Ahmad, and he's direct and he's pacey and he's run at the defence there, rather like Ahmad was doing in the first half, but clearly Van Bronckhorst wasn't happy with what he was getting from him, and he's tried Sakala, who's got a goal in him. He does have an eye for goal as well. That might be one advantage he has over Ahmad, and he's just done a bit of defending there, first-line defence, and he's prevented Starfelt clearing the ball.
Absolutely. That's what Rangers need in this second half. They need a little bit more energy, just need a little bit more belief. Of course, it's a long, long way back here at the cauldron atmosphere of Celtic Park with Celtic 3-0 up. But if Rangers can get a goal here quickly to make it 3-1, just a little bit of doubt might creep into Antti Postecoglou's side. But it is Rangers in possession here now with Goldson just sending the ball back towards the edge of his own penalty area here for McGregor. Just a wave of fog passing over Celtic Park. That's no doubt some pyrotechnics from the fans at half-time. But why not? This is a great night for Celtic, as you said. The 3-0 up at half-time against Rangers, almost unheard of, really.
Yeah, I think it's it's definitely just an underscore of what probably the sort of building belief in Postecoglou's game plan and the players that he signed, and obviously the growing belief that the Rangers are nothing like the team they were last season when they dominated Scottish football.
Absolutely. Here comes Celtic now with Hatate trying to thread a ball through. Giakoumakis was breaking into the penalty area. Ball is cleared back into midfield, and it is now with Carl Starfelt playing it square to Carter Vickers. Ooh, just a little bit under hit that pass, but it just about gets through to McGregor, and Celtic keep possession of midfield here down the left-hand side now with Greg Taylor. Ahead of him there was the run of O'Reilly. His cross, just a little bit too much pace on that one. Just about kept in play down the right-hand side of Celtic. Look, but Aribo wins the ball back here for Rangers. Has to slide in to keep his side in possession. Couldn't quite get the ball through towards Ryan Kent. And Celtic now back in possession on the halfway line. But straight away, that mad pace we saw for most of the first half carrying on into the second.
Yeah, I think Rangers are going to give it a fight here with the impetus of the substitutes and the energy they'll bring to the game. I think they're going to give it a good crack here for sort of 15-20 minutes. But if Celtic can weather this, then it's going to be plain sailing from that point onwards, and Celtic themselves might be able to increase the lead, because Rangers defensively have been poor tonight, on crosses, not picking up particularly well. Clearly Barisic was embarrassed for the third goal, but also the closing down for Hatate's second and for the first, which was hit through a crowd of bodies and took a slight deflection. Just maybe it was symptoms of what's been very poor defending from Rangers tonight.
Yeah, Van Bronckhorst, of course, with his defensive qualities from his playing, they certainly wouldn't have been impressed with that. And say Barisic, the player who would have played in Van Bronckhorst's position down the left, he gets the hook. One of 3 players to go off for half-time. But here comes Celtic now with Abada at the edge of the area. His strike deflects into the path of Giacomakis. The Rangers expecting the flag to go up. The flag doesn't go up, making a bit of a mess of trying to clear this ball as well until they finally do it with a long clearance there from Calvin Bassey up towards the halfway line. Carter Vickers, well, that's not a fair fight, really, is it? Carter Vickers against Kemar Roof. In terms of a fight for the ball, in terms of an aerial duel there, and it's Celtic now back in possession down the left-hand side. A bit of space here now for Hotter. Tavernier is just ahead of him, but he rolls the ball into Hatate, back to Hotter. Rangers just about doing enough to clear the ball, but Celtic trying to win it back in midfield here, and they have won it back in midfield. Sliding in was Hatate, couldn't quite keep his side in possession that time, and it is Rangers now playing out with Bassey down the left-hand side. Plays that ball in towards Kent, looking for the run of Aribo, but it's out for a throw down the left-hand side. 51, coming up to 51 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary. Celtic leading against Rangers by 3-0. Hatate with the goals on 5 and 42 minutes, and then Abada making it 3 on 44. Still no work really for Joe Hart in the game, and certainly in this second half. For all the energy we've seen from Rangers, still no end product up front. No,
they've not been able to get serious service up to Kemar Roof really since the opening sort of 5 minutes, 10 minutes of the game, when Celtic have just been able to close ranks around him. I think the midfield's got a little bit too deep and not got support around Roof and Kent. Although he's endeavoured to try and beat his man and get forward when he can, his service has been pretty poor as well.
Well, Roof now in possession for Rangers, but it was inside his own half. He tried to switch play over towards Ryan Kent. It didn't reach his teammate, and now Celtic are able to capitalise with a run down the right-hand side. A cross coming in from Abada, headed up in the air and eventually headed away by Balogun, but Celtic still fighting to win this ball back. Down there, right down Rangers left, and they do win it back. And now Abada trying to get away from Calvin Bassey. Bassey pulls back on Abada, and he's going to give away the free kick, and he's going to get a booking as well.
Yeah, frustration there. Celtic had won the ball back. Juranovic back heeling. The party tricks are coming out now, and he's just caught a little bit on his heels there, Bassey, and has dragged him back. Easy decision for the referee. Yellow card, and now another good attacking free kick for Celtic.
Good chance here now for Celtic to get bodies into the box. I mean, at 3-0, you would say that the home side are looking very, very comfortable indeed. But if they were to get a fourth here, then really that is game, set and match. But Rangers, as you would expect, back in numbers. Offside line just at the edge of the 6-yard box. Referee Bobby Madden whistles, and it's a bit of a loose free kick this time. Just a little bit short there. I'm not really quite sure what he was trying to achieve there. I think it was Abada down that right-hand side. Ball now won back here by Celtic. McGregor inside now towards Hatate. And Hatate heading towards the penalty area, just overran that slightly. Arfield then wins it back, and it's a chance here now for Sakala to start a run here for Rangers, running straight through the middle there, runs into Carter Vickers though, doesn't get any luck with the deflection and goes straight through to Callum McGregor. And now Celtic are off down the right-hand side. Space here for Hotto, who's just switched with Abada, who's got further forward this time, but that's good play there from Calvin Bassey to win the ball back for his side. And Aribo now square to Arfield, who tries to pick out Sakala down the right-hand side. He's stopped, but Tavernier there is mopping up, and he's on the run now down the right-hand side. He puts a cross in, which is just about dealt with. Arfield then running onto it. Hits it. Looks like he struck it fairly cleanly there, Scott Arfield. Just a little bit too much height on that one.
Yeah, he struck it really well. Difficult those. Had that great chance, didn't he, at 1-0, where the pass to him was just a little bit too much and he couldn't reach it. Next thing you know, Hatate's making it 2-0, but he has got forward, he has joined up with the attack, unlike some of the other Rangers midfielders who have been a little bit too deep at times.
Yeah, just sitting back a little bit too much. Rangers now in possession inside the Celtic half. Tavernier just inside now towards Ryan Jack. Jack looking forward, tries to get it into Roof. He touches it back to Tavernier. Celtic pressing, Rangers keeping possession now. Ken back towards the halfway line for Balogun. And now we're Bassey over towards the left-hand side here for Ryan Kent. But Celtic back in numbers inside their own half. Rangers now exchanging a good 15-20 passes, but they can't really get forward. If anything, they're being forced further back. And Goldson now finds Jack. Now it's Roof. Back to Arfield. He tries to hit it quickly towards Sakala, but Celtic win it back, although Rangers win it back very quickly themselves. Here's Scott Arfield now. Didn't see enough of him in the first half. And that's a good ball from him to find Fashion Sakala down the right-hand side. Gets to the edge of the area, being stood up here by Starfelt. Just a little bit too easy and going down. I mean, the way he hit the deck and then sort of threw his arms up, it's almost like he felt as though he had a nailed-on penalty here, but I just think he's probably looking for that a little bit too much.
Yeah, again, there's a little bit of contact, but I don't think it's enough to bring him down, and the ball was going out of play. He was sort of a little bit begging for a decision there, so yeah, the referee's got all the big decisions right tonight. I think he's refereed the game very well. Under a lot of pressure, obviously, but he's he's not put a foot wrong hardly.
He's not, and in fairness, the players haven't made him make too many decisions in terms of strong tackles. There've been a couple of physical moments, but certainly remembering some of the old firm derbies from back in the day, this has been a little bit easier for the referee to marshal. Celtic win the ball back now. Giacomakis just at the edge of the area, spotted the run of Hotta, and then he charges into his man to try and win the ball back. Gives away a free kick. He's not really got into the game, Giacomakis, this evening, has he?
He's had chances as well, hasn't he? I mean, the thing is, I think he does bring quite a bit to the Celtic structure of this team, because he's always in there. He's always looking to make good near post runs. He's a physical presence. He'll upset defenders as well. And when you've got sort of two lightweight wingers either side trying to beat their man and trying to whip crosses in, then you do need somebody who's going to make those type of runs that Giacomakis always is there making. His end product perhaps isn't what you'd expect from a top quality Celtic forward. He's no Henrik Larsson or anything like that, but I think he does do a job for this team.
He does, bearing in mind that 2 seasons ago, playing for Venlo in the Dutch League, he scored 26 in 30, so there is a goal scorer in there for sure. But he's just struggled to get into the game this evening. As you mentioned, he's seen a lot of the ball, he's had the chances, but just a little bit off the pace at times. And with Celtic having this comfortable lead, you do get the feeling that Postecoglou will probably be thinking of making some changes once we get past the hour mark. We're on for approaching 57 minutes here. Independent off-tube studio commentary, Celtic 3, Rangers 0. And his substitute for Rangers, Fashion Sakala, going back towards his captain Tavernier. He's got options here left and right. Goes square to Ryan Jack. Over towards the left-hand side now. Calvin Bassey playing as the left-back after Balogun came on at half-time. Going back towards Jack. Here is Tavernier playing through the middle, trying to get a ball out towards the left-hand side. Once again, Celtic back in numbers, but Goldson gets forward this time. He puts a ball in towards the edge of the area. Doesn't quite get through to Kemar Roof. Celtic now in possession with McGregor, but he's straight away under pressure here from Arfield. Rangers trying to beat Celtic at their own game, really, and getting bodies in front to try and win the ball back, and it's paying off as Sakala and Arfield now fighting to get the ball back, but Arfield just a little bit too physical, although I think it might have actually gone in favour of Rangers for an earlier infringement. Yeah,
the referees decided to take it back a little bit of a phase of play there, because clearly Arfield was tugging at Giacomakis, but there was an earlier challenge that he's penalised, so Rangers have a free kick. I think McGregor, he was great in the first half, but I just see his legs starting to go a little bit now. Maybe he's had a bit of time out of the game with his injury and perhaps isn't quite fully match fit, but we're getting towards the hour mark now, and McGregor's influence in this second half has been quite minimal, actually.
He has, and of course he does have that booking from the first half as well, so it might be an idea for Postecoglou to perhaps consider changing his captain once we get past the hour. It's this free kick to Rangers now. It's from a long way out. That's really poor from James Tavernier. It's about 10 yards short of the edge of the area. Easiest clearance there to get that ball away and back towards the halfway line, where Ryan Jack has dropped deep, and he tries a long quarterback-style ball towards Roof at the edge of the area. It doesn't reach him, but it does get through towards Aribo. He then finds Ryan Kent on the left-hand side. He breaks into the box, trying to take on his man there, but Juranovic isn't going to get sold that easily, and Celtic now can go on a counter-attack themselves, and there's space here down the right-hand side. Juranovic tries to play that ball in early towards the edge of the area, and that's good covering there from Liam Balogun, but I just think maybe he rushed that a little bit.
Yeah, I like Juranovic. I think he's had a good game so far, but you're right, he probably could have taken that one on a few more metres.
And he's out of position now as Rangers go down that left-hand side to pick out Ryan Kent. Under pressure there, 3 Celtic players closing down. Goes back towards Joe Aribo, and here is Kent again. A good ball right across the 6-yard box, and whether it just got away from Kemar Roof or whether he just didn't gamble enough, couldn't quite pick out the Rangers man inside the penalty area.
Yeah, it's good play from Rangers. They are picking up second balls. They are getting better crosses into the penalty area. Kemar Roof doesn't quite read the intentions there. He's a little bit behind the defender, and the cross was a little bit too far out of him. fashion, Sakalo's probably got the best chance at the back post, but he's struggling to whip it in from right on the byline. This is good play from Celtic, though. Somebody's gone down with an injury here, and this is probably just to give them a bit of a breather, because Rangers are starting to get a bit of a head of steam up in the game, although it's also a chance maybe to get a sub on as well.
Yeah, looks like a double substitution being readied here by Ante Postecoglou. It's going to be Maeda, and I think it's Forrest is the other player getting ready to come on. So a double change in prospect here for Celtic, but Postecoglou must be delighted with this, having been in Scotland, been in Glasgow now for a good few months. He'll know that certainly for the football fraternity, it revolves around these Old Firm games. So a big win here this evening does get him a lot of browning points with the Celtic fans. As it needs a little bit more time here. It's Liel Abada who's down.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if Abada's the one to go off here. Although he is hobbling off a little bit. Maybe he's got a dead leg or something like that. I mean, you can run off a dead leg. McGregor would be the one I would think, based on his performance levels in the second half, should be going off. But maybe because he's the skipper, because he's, obviously still a very, very good player, you don't want to take him off. Maeda, midfielder coming on. Forrest, a winger coming on. And it is going to be for Giacomakis, I think.
Yeah, so Giacomakis is going to be going off. And we made the point with him that he's not really got into the game. Abada is the other one to go off, so it's two attacking changes here. Abada off to be replaced by Forrest, and then we've got Maeda coming on to replace Giacomakis. We'll see exactly how these two position themselves on the field, but certainly it looks as though Postecoglou waiting until the hour mark to make these two changes. And certainly with the fresh legs on the field, it's just more chance for Celtic to try and get a bit of control again, because the last few minutes have looked a little bit better for Rangers, and Celtic playing out from the back make a bit of a mess of that short goal kick, and they make a bit of a mess of the secondary clearance as well. Their Carter Vickers giving that away towards Aribo. Here is Kent now down the left-hand side, runs straight into O'Reilly as he won his side a corner. Oh, it's just gone out for a goal kick. Maybe a little bit of luck there on Celtic's start.
Yeah, but again, Celtic getting the ball away pretty quickly. So even though they're winning 3-0, they're still trying to play the quick balls, try and catch Rangers out that way. This one's drifted out of play for a throw-in on the halfway line to Rangers. But maybe just a sense here that there is a bit of a tide turning in the match, and the Rangers are having their best spell of the game so far.
Well, they need a good spell, don't they? They need a good spell. They need a goal just to get on the board in this game, just to put that little bit of doubt into the Celtic players' minds. And they've got another chance here now as Kent is off down the left. He's got Bassi on the overlap. Kent's trying to do it all himself, though. Cuts inside onto his right foot and strikes towards goal. It's a save that Joe Hart has to make, but it's an easy save. Yeah,
he's not had to extend himself tonight, has he, Joe Hart, really? Both efforts on target from Rangers, from Kent, have been right at him. But again, we're seeing Rangers get into a position to shoot and have 3 or 4 players in and around the penalty area when that shot comes in. So this is much better than the first half.
That's a good ball, though, from the goalkeeper to pick out Hatate in midfield. And then there's a chance here now for Forrest to get on the ball for the first time. He puts a cross in which deflects off Calvin Bassi, and straight away a Celtic win a corner kick with one of their substitutes being involved in that. Forrest will now go into the penalty area. We'll see who the corner kick taker is going to be. Looks like it's going to be a left-footed ball coming in from Matt O'Reilly. Just waiting to see where his teammates are inside the penalty area. No surprise to see the big framer Carter Vickers getting into the box. Now it's whipped in towards that near post, and there was an attempt at a flick on there from Starfelt. Ball deflects out for another corner.
Yep, again another good delivery from O'Reilly. He's got good quality on that left foot, and just tried the little near post flick on there. It didn't quite come off.
Chance now to whip it in from this left-hand side, from this right-hand side again with the left foot aimed at Carter Vickers. He was climbing all over his man. I wonder if he'd have got his head to that if that had been given as a foul.
Look at the Celtic ball boys here as this header, ball goes behind for what will be a Rangers goal kick. The Celtic ball boys kick the ball away from Alan McGregor, so they can't take a quick goal kick, whereas if it's the other end, they're getting the ball so quickly to Joe Hart so he can get things restarted. So those Celtic ball boys are doing their job like the 12th man tonight.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, there was that famous one, wasn't there? Was it Swansea against Chelsea?
Yeah.
Where the ball boy was actually almost an adult, and he was basically like a son of one of the directors, and he was sat on the ball. The ball was kicked from underneath him by Hazard, and he did his best footballer routine, pretending as to how injured he was. But
we got Hazard sent off, didn't he?
He did, yeah, he did. That's right. I seem to remember. Am I right in remembering that Gary Neville once got sent off, or he got booked for throwing the ball back at an Everton fan who'd thrown it at him at Goodison Park?
Possibly, yeah.
I seem to remember there was something like that as well. But yeah, I definitely remember seeing games in League 1 and 2 where ball boys would deliberately just kick the ball into the crowd almost, and the home fans would almost cheer it as if to say, well, that's just standard. If you're the away team, you're always going to have it a little bit more difficult. But certainly in these Old Firm games, it's going to be that much more noticeable. But 65 minutes gone, Celtic still leading by 3-0. There has been a response from Rangers. I just wonder if it had stayed at 1-0 to half-time, this could have been very different. We can see the possession stat as well there for the second half, 63% for Rangers. So they have stepped up, but it's just it seems like too big an obstacle for them to try and overcome in this game.
Well, I mean, 3-0 at half-time, it could go one or two ways. You know, you can see it. You know, obviously Van Bronckhorst has made changes and he's had his say. They've come out second half and they've got a foothold in the game now. It could still finish 4 or 5-0 out to Celtic, this. And I think, you know, the outcome, the final score in this match could have a big bearing on the title race. You know, 4 or 5-0 to Celtic, massive psychological advantage for them. There'll only be a point clear, but, you know, it could have a big repercussions for Rangers' mentality the rest of the way. If Rangers get one back, maybe get 2 back, still lose the game, but lose with a bit of pride, then, you know, it's game on, isn't it?
Absolutely.
The title race.
Absolutely. When these two sides are so evenly matched and they're pretty much not dropping any points against their opposition here in the Scottish Premier League, so important for them to get these wins in the Old Firm games. But here come Rangers now with Kemar Roofe. Oh, that's a great ball in. Roofe tried to hit it first time to pick out Fashion Sakala. The offside flag is up in any case. But Rangers slowly just developing something in attack. Just a question of whether there's enough time for them to really make any inroads on this 3-goal Celtic lead, as Tate now puts the ball back towards Greg Taylor, just under a bit of pressure there. The ball out for a throw. Celtic, no surprise, they're not exactly charging to take this throw down the left-hand side. And it is with Greg Taylor. Got a couple of players further up the field. Nobody really come for the short throw. He's stolen about 10 yards there as well. One of the easiest defences I always say to get away with on a football field is where a throw-on's supposed to be taken from. Maeda is underneath that one. He can't win the header though. Roofe now trying to keep the ball alive for Rangers. It's a bit of a strong challenge there from Scott Arfield, and it's a free kick to Celtic.
Yeah, it needs something like that though from Rangers. It needs somebody to be a bit more aggressive and be a ball winner. The Rangers have been, up until this point where we're seeing them now have a little bit of the ball, they've been a bit too passive in the way that they've approached things in midfield. I think Ryan Jack's presence will obviously spice things up in midfield as well. But, they perhaps have been a little bit too gentle in midfield tonight.
Yeah, Celtic in the meantime have gained a bit of territory. They've got a throw now at the left-hand edge of the Rangers penalty area, but Greg Taylor just overplayed that slightly, and Maeda slides in to try and keep the ball alive. Trying to keep the ball alive there for Celtic. It goes out for a goal kick. A ball boy behind the goal there just turned and actually started to walk away from Alan McGregor as he looked round. And I think our referee, Bobby Madden, has spotted this as well. And he's actually calling over a stadium director to make the point that this is getting just a little bit too blatant now. Yep.
Start sending the ball boys off, you know. I mean, it's just not good for the overall atmosphere on the pitch, though, is it? You know, you got Rangers players frustrated at being 3-0 down, at being embarrassed like this, and then the ball boys are acting up, you know, just taking it a bit too far, and it could lead to some trouble on the pitch.
It could do, absolutely. As I say, it's one thing to perhaps just delay it by a second or two, but to actually turn your back on a professional on the field who wants the ball back is a bit too much. But here come Rangers now as Fashion Sakala gets the ball into the box. Strike from the right-hand side, goes a bit askew, but it's kept alive here by Ryan Kent. He's been blocked by McGregor. His strike is charged down by McGregor. Kent then heading this back towards Joe Aribo. Now over towards Bassi down the left-hand side. Just needs a couple of options here to try and get this ball into the penalty area. Doesn't want to use that right foot, sticking to his left, and he goes back towards the halfway line, where it's now with Connor Goldson. Goldson finds Tavernier. Rangers now charging forward here with Tavernier breaking into the penalty area, runs straight into 3 Celtic players though, and then it's a chance now for Hotter to bring the ball away for Celtic. So we've gone past the three-quarter mark in the game. It's 69 minutes gone. It's Celtic 3, Rangers 0 on its side to take us through to full-time.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, Rangers on the attack. Tavernier's ball just cut out there by O'Reilly and Hatate, and now McGregor should run it clear on the edge of the penalty area. McGregor down the line, got caught a bit late there, trying to feed it through to Maeda, but Balogun shepherds it back to his keeper, and McGregor knocks it away. Don't think the referee saw anything wrong with the challenge on McGregor, because play continues with Rangers in possession. And Jack, the former Aberdeen midfielder, wide it goes to Tavernier, closed down by Hotter. And so Rangers back to the edge of the penalty area, now trying to break out down the left with Bassi. Started the game central defence, now pushed into a left-back position. Gets it again from Aribo. Plays it back to Leon Balogun, and now Goldson. Goldson's got nowhere to go with it. Rangers fullbacks had pushed on, and Celtic strikers were pressing the two central defenders there. Now Jack's come into a deep midfield position to collect from McGregor and plays it out wide left-hand side to Kent. Former Liverpool winger. Knocks it down the line. Bassi on the overlap. He's got Aribo just tucked inside. Getting tangled up there with O'Reilly. Gets a deep cross into the back post. Taylor tries to clear it. It's going to drop to Sakala. Plays it in towards Arfield. Strike is deflected. It might drop here to Kent, and he can't quite get a handle on the ball or strike it cleanly as it breaks the way of O'Reilly to clear.
Well, speaking of a handle, Scott Arfield felt as though there was a handball inside the penalty area as he struck that. He was still asking the referee the question as he's running back towards the halfway line.
Referee Bobby Madden turned appeals down there as Rangers have the ball back in midfield. Jack now playing the ball over the top, looking for Aribo, who's broken between defenders. He just shepherded off the ball, though, by brilliant defending from Juranovic. Juranovic got caught out a little bit by the initial pass, but recovered very well. And Joe Hart wasn't called into action in the end, but Rangers pick it up again. They're picking up a lot of the loose balls in midfield now. Second balls are falling the way of the visitors. Jack has it, little back heel from him. Finds Tavernier, edge of the box. Got two ahead of him. One of them's Arfield, then on to Roof, who tries to turn in a tight area. Does well initially, but then it's cleared by Hotter, and the ball is brought down brilliantly under pressure from Juranovic, who can knock it back safely now to his keeper, Hart, to clear. And the Englishman gets good distance on his ball out, but it goes straight out of play on the halfway line for a Rangers throw.
Yeah, out for a Rangers throw. This pressure from Rangers is starting to pay off. They're getting more than half chances now. Well, I mean, Scott Arfield does strike the ball. It does it even hit Starfelt on the arm? His shoulder is on his across his chest there. I'm not so sure that's a penalty.
No, it's tucked in. It's within the silhouette. He's not doing anything there untoward. Fair enough. So Celtic making another change. This is their third substitution of the night, and it is the standing ovation for Rio Hatate.
Well, arguably the man of the match, you could say. I mean, he's going off 18 minutes early, Rio Hatate, but he scored two, and he had an assist for the third, and it's James McCarthy, so a ranging attacking midfielder replaced by a defensive one. Postecoglou just trying to close things up.
Yeah, he made he made one fantastic recovery run in the first half as well, from a Celtic corner where he got back and prevented Roof from getting in on goal. I thought that was when he was, standout candidate for man of the match for me, and then he went on to get another goal and an assist as a deep cross comes in from Tavernier. It's headed away by Carter Vickers, drops to Rangers again. Jack, who's having a good game since he came on, starting to boss things in the middle of the park now. Balogun drags Rangers forward, plays it out wide left hand side. Kent in the gloves, attacking Juranovic, who's standing off him by 5 yards, gets a cross in towards the near post, headed clear by McGregor, drops on the edge to Jack. Jack now for Arfield, who goes for goal and balloons it over the bar.
Yeah, Arfield just rushed in a little bit. He saw the ball coming to him. He was inside the box. He wasn't marked, so he thought, I've got to get a shot away here. But actually, looking at this replay, I think he had probably a little bit more time. May have even been able to take a touch before he hit it with his right foot. In the end, he lifted it over the bar.
Yeah, Ryan Jack winning the ball back on a couple of occasions there. Starting to have a real effect on the midfield in this game. Still more or less 20 minutes to go before the referee draws a close to proceedings, and Joe Hart's taking a bit of time over this goal kick. Plays it short. Carter Vickers receives and knocks it forward towards O'Reilly, but he's lost it now. Bassi knocks it forward again. Here come Rangers pouring forward with Kent. Bassi on the overlap, plays it inside to Aribo, and then the deflected clearance almost falls for Roof before Hart gobbles it up.
He does, but that ball to Aribo needed to be better because he had the space there to do something with that. Hart bowls it out quickly, trying to get a counter-attack here with Hotta, who is stopped by Tavernier, and the Rangers captain is going to get a booking.
Yep, clear. Drag back of Hotta, who was quick of feet and quick of thought and beat Tavernier. All ends up there, and then he grabbed his shirt, grabbed his badge actually, and then almost tried to hurdle him coming back the other way. It was all a bit untidy there from Tavernier. So, Celtic come forward again on the halfway line as Forrest tries to get out of a tight area, but he's lost it to Jack. Then the ball from Arfield wasn't good enough, and it's won back by Juranovic. Back it goes to Hart, who clears first time up to the halfway line and beyond. Balogun with the next header, drops in midfield as it's headed forward again by Celtic. Now brought down here towards Taylor. Taylor turns back towards his own goal, feeds it into midfield again. Celtic happy just to pass the ball around and play inside their own half. Given away there by Stafford, gets lucky there as the ball breaks back off Kent. Kent was trying to close down a pass out towards Juranovic, and he did, but he just couldn't quite get the loose ball there and bear down on goal. But Celtic have sprung clear now, and now Forrest has been brought down by Balogun. This could be another yellow card for a Rangers player. 2 yellows in the space of 2 minutes for Rangers players as Balogun joins Tavernier in the book.
He does. I just wonder if there was perhaps scope for the referee to allow play to go on here, because there was a good chance for Celtic to carry on that counter-attack. In the end, it was a clumsy one from Balogun. He knew what he was doing. He was hoping that perhaps he might get a bit of the ball, but I think he accepted that there was possibly going to be a yellow card for the team there.
So another Celtic free kick inside the Rangers half. It's going to be taken by Juranovic. He's got McCarthy stood right next to him in the pristine green and white hoops kit, because he's not really seen much action yet since coming on. The free kick is wasted though by Juranovic, and it's collected by McGregor, who's biding his time and now rolling it out to Goldson, Balogun. Now Jack on the edge of the Rangers penalty area, just pushing out now, finding Tavernier. Played down the line into Arfield's feet. Arfield brought down by Maeda, right in front of the Celtic dugout, and that's just going to be a free kick to Rangers. Ball played back to Goldson, and Rangers have to really get a move on now if they want to get something from this game. They need to score pretty soon. Goldson plays it up towards Sakala, who turns, faces goal, turns away from Hotta, who's all over his back, still going here. Sakala very direct, and now laying it out wide to the right for Tavernier to measure across. It's blocked at source by Taylor and then collected by McGregor, volleyed away up towards the halfway line over Maeda's head, and Rangers will come at Celtic again. 14 minutes to go, maybe a bit less than that before the 90's up, but there will be some stoppage time as well as Jack plays it back into his own half for Balogun and Goldson. Goldson now to Bassi. Down the line, Kent faced up with the full-back Juranovic, goes on the outside, gets blocked off by the defender and wins a free kick for Rangers. Might be a yellow card coming here for the Celtic defender this time.
Yeah, we'll see if referee Bobby Madden, he looks like he's thinking about it, whether or not it's just going to be a quick word or actually a booking. I think it looks like he might have just got away with this. But overall, the last 10 minutes have been much better for Rangers. It's Celtic who are struggling to get out of their own half, but still only really a couple of routine saves for Joe Hart to make.
Aribo back to Jack, now on to Kent on that left-hand side, trying to take on the defender, comes in field, gets away from McCarthy, dumps it off to Aribo, 25 yards out, plays it back out to Bassi, crossing opportunity, but he's tightly marked there, gets the ball in eventually towards Roof. It's headed over the bar by Carter Vickers, who just got the right angle and the right aerial sort of lift on that cross to knock it behind for a corner.
He's out for a corner. Chance here for Rangers to maintain this pressure. It's going to be Tavernier to take it from the right-hand side. Plenty of players to aim for inside the box.
Wind whipping up around Celtic Park as a high corner comes in. It's headed clear by Starfelt and then flicked further on by Jota. As Rangers try and build again with Jack. Jack maybe eyeing up a shot here from 25 yards out. Gets a decent strike and it's hit the bar. Ryan Jack with a thunderbolt effort from 25 yards. Hart was beaten, but it comes back off the woodwork.
Fantastic strike from Ryan Jack. He is an excellent midfielder, and he certainly wants to make a point of not being in the starting 11 for this Old Firm match. And that was a really good effort just off the crossbar.
Yeah, it came flat off the face of the crossbar and bounced back into the Celtic penalty area when it was eventually cleared. Rangers have got it back inside their half now. Played forward by Jack. Nice ball to Roof's feet. Roof turns under pressure. Challenge comes in from McCarthy. Now Celtic's turn to put the foot in. It goes out wide to Sakala, who comes in away from Starfelt. Tries to ride another tackle. He's brought down by the Celtic defender and wins Rangers another free kick. They're just starting to not quite panic here, Celtic, but they're definitely a little bit more frantic in the way they're approaching the game. Less calm on the ball. They're losing the ball a little bit too easily, and now they're resorting to sort of like last-ditch tackles.
Yeah, they are, and it just goes to show it. And this is with a 3-0 lead with 11 minutes to go. So if Rangers had pulled a goal back earlier, it could have been even more stressful for Celtic. But here comes Sakala now.
Yeah, edge of the penalty area. He's done well since coming on, actually, Sakala. He's had some end product. He's been busy. The pass goes across the penalty area now. It's picked up by Kent, who's had to go very deep to finally turn and face the Celtic defenders. Knocks it wide, gets it back to Balogun. Now Jack, the playmaker in midfield. Ball over the top, looking for Roof, peeling away. Good little ball back towards Kent. Shooting opportunity, edge of the box here for Kent. Finds Roof again. Forced wide left-hand side. 2 in the box to aim for. Sakala's on the edge, as is Kent. Now back to Aribo. He might have a shot, then he falls over. Well, that was embarrassing for the former Arsenal man. And now Celtic can clear up towards Maeda, who's going to try and use his pace and his physicality to try and bustle past Balogun, but the defender's too strong. And he knocks it back to McGregor. 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, good strength there from Balogun just to make sure that ball does go back to McGregor. But yeah, Celtic just a little bit under pressure now. But of course, they do have that 3-goal lead. They still know that the game is pretty safe as it stands. But as you say, watching the last 5 minutes or so, you wouldn't know it because Celtic do seem to be under a lot of pressure.
Rangers back in defence now with Jack winning the ball, carrying it clear. Finds Roof peeling away left-hand side. He's got Kent out there on his own, one-on-one with Juranovic. Wants to take him on here as he approaches the edge of the box. Manages to play the ball back towards Jack, who tries to drift across, and it's volleyed clear by Starfelt in the heart of that Celtic defence. Well, Celtic want the clean sheet now. You know, the thoughts of 4-5-0 have gone out the window. It's all about ensuring the 3-0 stays intact. Here comes a deep cross from Tavernier, headed clear again at the back post by Juranovic. It's going to be Rangers possession again. Bassi back to Aribo. Not much movement ahead of the Englishman here. He goes back to Jack and then wide to Bassi again, who moves it out of his feet. Edge of the penalty area. Back to Jack. Things getting a bit static for Rangers now. Tavernier's come central. There's nobody out on the right-hand side, and so Goldson has to go back left. Celtic just weathering the storm at the moment as Jack now takes over once more. Plays it back to Goldson, crosses the halfway line. Now Tavernier's, in fact, he's out towards Sakala, but challenge comes in from Hotter, puts it out for a throw.
Yeah, up for a throw. It's got around 8 minutes to go before we hit injury time in this game. And the last 10-15 minutes, the ball pretty much spending all of its time inside the Celtic half, with Rangers certainly dominating in possession, but still not really able to create those clear-cut chances, barring that great effort off the bar, of course.
Yeah, Rangers have had more shots in the game and more shots on target in the game now, which when you look at the scoreboard and see they're 3-0 down, you wouldn't believe, and certainly when you saw that first half performance you wouldn't believe, but they have had some end product without much to show from it in the second half, if you see what I mean. Ball over the top is stopped by Juranovic, and then Forrest knocks it out of play. Just get the feeling Celtic are hanging on a little bit here, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I mean, it seems strange that we're both saying that when you consider the scoreline, but certainly in terms of possession, in terms of the press, it is Rangers now that look in total control. Arguably, you could say Celtic are letting them to some extent because they know the scoreline is what it is. But a chance in now for Goldson.
Goldson puts a deep ball into the back post. Roof was there, but so was Hart, who read the flight of the ball and collected in front of the striker.
Well, you called this right at the start of the game that Roof, for all his goal-scoring qualities, he isn't a particularly tall striker. And with Joe Hart in goal, plus the two defenders in front of him, it's going to be very, very difficult. Just finally seen a slow-mo of that effort from Jack. It was a brilliant strike.
Yeah, he caught it really well. And Joe Hart, I mean, he tried to get to it, but he was just a fingertip away. But it came back off the woodwork and to safety as far as Celtic are concerned. Roof's come back into midfield to collect and lays it back now to Goldson. Poor pass from him to Balogun. It's been seized upon by Forrest. Can they seal it now with Hotter? Edge of the penalty area. Into the penalty area he goes. Can't dribble past Goldson, who makes up for his earlier error, but concedes a corner.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a frustrated Dyson Maeda inside the penalty area as well, because he was unmarked, and with Hotzer just taking a little bit too long to get the ball out from his feet, could have easily rolled that to Maeda as well.
But Celtic can wind the clock down as they prepare to take the corner. Starfelt's gone up. I don't think both he and Carter Vickers will necessarily wander forward for this now. They want to keep a bit of an insurance policy back there on the halfway line. Hotter plays the corner and deep to the back post. Starfelt was there, but it's pushed away by McGregor behind for another corner.
Yep, just gets there one-handed. McGregor ahead of the Celtic man. The ball was sort of curling away from him as well, so he actually does well just to get a hand to that.
So, will Celtic send the same corner taker from one side to the other? No, they'll send O'Reilly to take this next one, as he usually does from the right. Bent in left-footed. Carter Vickers has stayed. No, Carter Vickers has gone up for this one now, and it's aimed in towards him, but headed away by Goldson, edge of the box, collected by McGregor. Back to Carter Vickers inside the penalty area. Wall of blue stops his progress. Now McCarthy sends it out wide to O'Reilly, nodded back into Forrest, with Bassi all over him. Aribo trying to pick his pocket too. Forrest strong in the challenge, but then outnumbered and gives away a free kick to Rangers. Or does he? No, it's gone the other way. Celtic's free kick.
Well, certainly, looking at Calvin Bassey's reaction, I think he was as surprised as you were. He felt as though this should have been a free kick. He felt as though he was brought down by Forrest. The referee didn't see it that way. He then gave a free kick for the fact that Aribo had run into Forrest. But I actually agree with Bassey. I thought that he might have been fouled in the first place anyway.
Well, maybe that's one the referees got wrong, but probably won't make a big difference to the result. O'Reilly's preparing to take the free kick from over on that left-hand side, or right-hand side again. Left ball to the back post, and it's tipped over the bar by McGregor. He's backpedaling. It was on target, and he made it safe there by conceding the corner.
Yeah, I think because so many big men in the box, you almost expect this to be a cross, but actually that was a really good effort. It was curling, it was dipping, and that would have gone in had it not been for McGregor's save.
So, a bit of late pressure on the Rangers goal now from Celtic, and now again we're seeing McGregor complaining about what he believes is time wasting from Celtic. It was the ball boys before, now it's the Celtic players themselves, and Taylor's gone down with nobody around him, and Rangers want time added on at the end of this game. There's going to be a couple of changes here by Celtic anyway, I think. They've got two more subs waiting to come on.
They are. They're still trying to work out. It looks as though it is going to be Greg Taylor. He's going to be one of the players to go off. Just showing the whole stadium that he definitely has got an injury, because I don't think the Rangers players were too convinced by that. No. But he's going off the field now.
Ismaila Soro is one of the Celtic substitutes to come on. He's a midfielder, so wouldn't be a like-for-like change for Taylor.
Unless Taylor's due to come back on, there's going to be another two changes apart from him. That's what we'll have to wait and see now. But yeah, Hotter's the first one to go off.
Yeah, so Hotter, who's not had his most effective game for Celtic tonight, but he's certainly played his part, and he's tormented and teased the Rangers defence, certainly when Celtic were on top in the first half. Ben Doak is his replacement. Ben Doak wearing number 84 for Celtic, young Scottish player, just 16 years of age, comes on. He doesn't look much older than 16 either, so yeah, that's about right. Midfielder, born in 2005. And then Ismaila Soro is the other change, and he's coming on for Matt O'Reilly.
Getting old side. The year I graduated university, and we've got players born in that year now playing for the Celtic first team. But it's a great night for him, of course, getting to play a few minutes here in an Old Firm game. As we can see, Soro is on the field now, just waiting to see who it is that he's replaced.
Yeah, O'Reilly, I think, came off. Yeah, Juranovic is taking his corner then, so they've had to change corner takers because of those substitutions. Juranovic from the left-hand side, right-footed corner, whipped in towards the near post, headed down by Maeda. It's blocked by Goldson in there and slammed away by the Rangers defence up towards and Sakala. But Celtic have got it back now. McGregor trying to turn away from Bassi. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was Bassi with a good aggressive press, and he's won that back, and he strides towards the edge of the Celtic box, puts a cross in towards Sakala, who was just eased out of the way by Starfelt. And there's two balls on the pitch briefly before it's allowed to run out for a throw-in.
Yeah, Celtic fans now are bouncing around Celtic Park. Yeah, absolutely delighted with the way this game has gone, albeit the last 20 minutes haven't probably been the way that the home crowd would have liked. They probably would have liked a bit more of a a bit more of a swan song, a bit more of a sort of a strong end to this game. But Rangers, in fairness to them, have come out in the second half and had a bit more resolve about them.
Yeah, as Taylor is felled as he tries to run at the ball out of defence by Jack, and that's going to be a free kick to Celtic. A little more on Ben Doak. It's not his Celtic debut. He got 22 minutes as a sub against Dundee United at the weekend. He's been on the bench a few times this season, but this is only his second Premiership appearance. As Taylor prepares for the throw-in, he's got Doak coming short, gets the layoff back to him, Taylor, and then gets brought down again. The referee does give the decision Celtic's way. Not quite clear whether it's a throw-in or a free kick, but Fashion Sakala as the player penalised.
Yeah, a bit of frustration there from Fashion Sakala, but you make the point. He's made a decent impact since he's come on in the second half.
Ball chipped over the top, trying to find Doak down that left-hand side. Doak gone down. Ball's gone out of play anyway. It's going to be a goal kick to Rangers.
Yeah, so just the last few seconds before we hit injury time in this game. There may be a little bit of time added on, albeit that the scoreline is pretty secure, but there have been a few stoppages as Rangers try and play out from the back but give the ball away inside their own half.
Yeah, McCarthy to Sorrow, and running beyond him was Juranovic, but he's gone back this time to Carter Vickers. He plays it out towards Juranovic, who tries to flick it away beyond Bassey. Comes off the defender though, out for a Celtic throw. We're into stoppage time, 5 minutes of it. 5 more minutes of torture for the Rangers fans that haven't turned the televisions off yet. Not officially inside the stadium.
So you'd be a brave Rangers fans. But I suppose that there might be a few that are in there secretly, but Rangers now with a chance down the left here, and it's Ryan Kent running straight into James McCarthy.
Yeah, Kent has run down a few rabbit holes tonight and not really had his most productive, well, certainly not his most productive game. In fact, it's not been a great season, has it, for Ryan Kent, compared to the standards he set last season, and a few have maybe questioned why that is.
It is very difficult, though, isn't it, to maintain that sort of form. Sometimes players just through getting into good form, being in good shape, can just maintain that form, and then when they lose it, they're not really sure why that is. But Tavernier now breaking forward.
Yeah, and Tavernier tries to get a cross in at the end of that ball over the top, but it's blocked by Taylor. It goes out for a throw-in. Yeah, it's been hard for the Rangers players to generally match the standards they set last season in that incredible campaign. Of course, Steven Gerrard departing as well probably didn't help one or two of them, although maybe Gerrard saw this coming and decided to get out while the going was good. Obviously Rangers fans were disgusted when he decided to head for Aston Villa, thinking there was a lot of this job still to do. Take Rangers on in Europe maybe and take them to another title. He's not won a domestic cup, has he, in his time at Rangers? Just the league title. That was all it was.
It was, yeah. And then there may have been some thought that Gerrard, perhaps, as you said, perhaps he could see that there was going to be a remodelling of the squad that was going to require a lot of investment that perhaps the board wouldn't be too keen to give him. But I think, rather than sort of thinking about what was happening at Rangers, I just think that Steven Gerrard always wanted that chance to get into the Premier League. And as I say, Aston Villa, a side that sort of aiming for mid-table in the Premier League with sort of long-term ambitions to get higher than that. Rangers fans might look at that and think that it is a step down for him, but I think he was always aiming for that return to the Premier League.
Chance for family life again, of course. He'd been living out of a suitcase in Glasgow for a number of years, and to get back into England, get near his home base on Merseyside there, get back with his family, probably also a big telling factor. But it's left Rangers now with a new manager and players that need to rediscover their former levels, and they're going to have a big fight on their hands to win this second successive Premiership title this season. The Celtic are going 1 point clear at the top. Here's Sakala, who's been dragged back by substitute Doak, for a free kick to Rangers late on in this game. There's 2 minutes of stoppage time, but it is far too little too late from Rangers in the second half. Now there's a bit of
well, it's more of the same in terms of the yellow card, the ball being kicked away. Doak a little bit unhappy there about getting booked, but
he's probably younger than some of the ball boys who've been doing the same. But he's definitely taken a lead from there, hasn't he?
He certainly has, yeah. And his first Old Firm game, only on for a few minutes already, picks up a yellow card, and it's Tavernier to take this free kick from the right-hand side.
Yeah, there's a bit of
pushing and shoving in the penalty area as the referee blows the whistle. In it comes from Tavernier, headed clear at the back post, drops to Kent. Kent puts the ball back into the chance there for Goldson. He's headed over from 7 yards out.
Good chance there to at least reduce the arrears, get Rangers on the board, ruin that clean sheet for Celtic. But it's not to be after the ball is headed away to the edge of the area. But lovely ball put back into the box, but Goldson just arcing over the ball a little bit too much there after the cross from Kent.
Yeah, that's certainly Kent's best moment of the game, and he's put it on a plate really for Goldson, who times his jump pretty well and just gets the wrong sort of, wrong connection on the header. It was a bit too up in the air, not powerful enough down, and well, that kind of sums up Rangers' night really. It's just not been anything like the standards that they set in Scottish football over the last year or so. So Rangers are going to find themselves second in the Scottish Premiership tonight, as Kent takes another turn on the ball coming through midfield and gives it away to McGregor. Celtic are going to take over the leadership of the Scottish Premiership then under Ange Postecoglou for the first time since he took over, the Australian. And the Celtic fans will certainly feel as though he's built something already, and there's plenty more to come if he can be further backed in the transfer market. He's brought in some very shrewd signings so far, and he's getting tunes out of players who are still really finding their feet in Scottish football. Imagine after a few more months of this. Anyway, there goes the final whistle. It is all over. 2 goals from Rio Hatate, 1 from Leo Laborde have made this a great night for the Hoops. It's finished at Celtic Park. Celtic 3, Rangers 0.